Alright, I have another canvas. It's a plain canvas, it's not a stick, you see, just a plain canvas, nothing special, but it's not really about the canvas. A lot of people kind of make a big deal about, or some people make a big deal about the canvas. It's really not about the canvas, it's what you put on the canvas. This canvas is super cheap, came in a pack, but what I put on it is what's going to be what's of value. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take this and I'm going to prepare this canvas. I'm trying to make sure that it's not warped. This one is warped, but ever so slightly. All right. I am going to take some thumbtacks. And this is, and I'm going to hammer them into the back of here so they don't come apart. A lot of these things like to bend because they're not strong enough. They're not meant to be hammered like that. Surprise! Shh. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and basically what the reason for this is so it's elevated off of the surface. So like when I do this, it's right there on here, and when I go and the paint flows off the side, if I want to pull this up, it's going to take all of this with it, and it's going to be really nasty. What this does is it elevates it off of the thing so that I have this underneath and it can just drip down. I can catch the drips and so on and so forth. So this, I like to do this with all my pieces. You won't really notice the holes that are in here. They're minute holes, and also when the paint runs over, it'll run right over into those holes if you take these out before it's dry, which I'd never do, but you know, because the holes are kind of, it's on the back, so, and it's part of the process, so yeah, now I've got it elevated up off of here. Doesn't have to be a whole lot, just enough to where it's not touching the thing. Put this back. Alright, now what I want to do is I'm going to do a really simple Dutch pour. Dutch pour, I'm pretty sure, if not, if you haven't seen it, it's a pretty popular technique. And basically what it is just taking paint, pouring it on the canvas, and then blow drying it into a beautiful pattern. Make sure this is, yep, this isn't on, it's not plugged in. Let me plug it in real quick. There we go. Alright, so this is one of the techniques that I go to when I'm really, I always like to actually do some kind of painting or something, because if I stop doing it, then I get out of the habit of it. So these kinds of paintings I do to try to keep me motivated and do it and get the block, you know, the artist block or whatever you call it, out of there. What I'm looking for now is I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to use as a base coat. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn my fan on. It might be a little bit more of a noise, but it is severely hot out here. So I'm just going to turn it on low. I don't really like having the fan pointed toward, because it'll point it towards the painting, because it'll make it dry too fast. Alright, I'm just going to go right in and pour that right in the center. I'm going to save just a little bit so I can catch the corners that don't get covered. And I am going to try and even this out as much as possible before. And this is what a lot of people call tilting. Alright, just so you know, there is a method to my madness when I'm blowing this out. You always want to blow, if you want, you blow from the inside out because the canvas likes to dip in because the weight of the paint is causing the canvas to want to dip in the middle. And so all the paint is going to want to pool down in there. So you want to get as much paint away from the middle as possible. And then you want to get as much paint off of the canvas as you can. Make as thin a layer as possible so that, and I'm just catching the edges that didn't get paint on them. A light green and a dark green. And I'm going to use a dark pink. I'm pretty sure you've seen that plenty of times. So I've used it quite a bit here lately. And I'm going to use this purple. And I don't know if I want to use the neon. I'm not using any gold. That's a bad idea. Gold and silver to me never ever work well together. It could in certain circumstances, but just not my thing. And I'm going to use some white. Alright, so what I'm going to do, and I'm going to leave it sideways because I'm going to blow this way and it'll be a lot easier than trying to go and reach up there. So I'm going to go with this neon first, and I'm just going to layer it. And this is going to be very simple. It's not going to be anything super special. And then I'm going to go in with the green, and don't put too much paint on there. Don't saturate it because then you'll just spread it. It'll just spread to everywhere. Let's see. I'm going to put some of this purple. And I'm going to get some whites. And dark green. And dark pink. That's actually enough right now. I don't think I want to go in with anything else. I'll go with some more of this. I think that should be good. Maybe a little more white. Don't want to put too much white because it will completely take over. And some more of this, just a little bit. I keep saying to stop and don't put too much in. I keep not doing what I say to not do, and yeah. Alright, that should be good. Should be more than enough paint. Let me clean this up so that I don't blow things all over the place. Alright. And I've got a little extra of the background colors just in case I need to do any fixing. Touching up, things like that. Alright. This to the side. I always like to clean up just a little bit so that hopefully this white, and I keep saying something and then going off to something else, but my brain just works that way. I apologize in advance. But the white that I put in here hopefully is going to pop those colors right on out there. So we're going to do it on low first, and I'm just going to blow it out. I don't know how well, see how well it flows. Yeah, I'm going to need to use it. Alright, so when that happens, that just means that the paint is too thick, and what I need to do is get it to be able to run a little bit more. So I'm going to put a little bit on the edge to give it something to go off of. I don't want to put too much, though. I might just have to manually blow it. Alright. This is telling me that I do not have enough paint on here. I need a whole lot more paint. So we're going to go again. And I was too worried about that. I was putting too much on there. And now look. Alright. I'm just going to put really big little globs on there. Uh-oh. I think I might have a stop up or something. There we go. I think it's okay. A lot of times it doesn't really matter how you layer it. Sometimes it does. But for these purposes, I'm just kind of doing a little fun project, kind of like letting go and just letting it kind of work itself. I think that might be good. But of course, you know me, I'm not going to stop. Because I can be quite heavy-handed with the paint. But this should definitely be more than enough. And alright, we're going to stop with this one. Now, let's see if this works. Don't like this, but I'm going to leave it sit, because a lot of times if you just leave it sit, it'll develop some colors. And then I'm going to do some manual blowing. That's what I like to call it, I guess. Just kind of clean up a few areas here and there. Yeah, I think that's alright. Just for a kind of impromptu piece. And I already see some things I can do to embellish this. So, okay, I'll tell you what's in my mind. So I'm thinking about using some of this lining stuff to just add a little bit of interest kind of like oh, drops actually looks really good. Ooh, that actually looks really nice. I like that a lot. I'm kind of running out of this stuff. That actually looks really cool looking. Oh, you can't. Can you not see that? Yay! I like that. All right. I don't want to put too much on there. Cool. All right. Yep. I think that's it. I think we're good. So thanks, guys, for watching. This was just an impromptu thing, just to get my creative juices flowing, I guess you could say. And I hope you can see that. Can you see that? Can you really see it? See if I can get this without destroying. I hate moving these. Yeah. And we will let that dry. I'm going to go take it over to the drying area. Alright, that is going to be it. I'm going to take some of these things this paint right here because I think it looks really pretty. Yeah, okay, yeah, it does. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to dip some little things. I'll show you. Alright, some of these, they're called cabochons, and they're just little things you can put magnets on them, or whatever. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip them in here, and I'll show you. And once you dip them, clean off the paint, then they look like that. And you just put a magnet on the back and they're cool. Really cute, cool little fun things. Let's see. That one. Pretty cool. And you get to use the paint and preserve those cool colors. I love these colors together. Fun spring colors. Leave them dry. Don't take long to dry because it's not a whole lot of paint there. But yeah, I'll do some more of these and see you next time. Hello. I gotta come up with a better intro. Hello is so boring. It sounds it's like, yeah, hello. No. We'll think of something, I guess. Something catchy. Something that's just me. Rock and roll. No. Okay. No. All right. I gave you a sneak peek of what I was doing before, and I started this one. I'll start the video with what this looked like, or I'll give you a kind of a clip of what this looked like when I was done with it. And it looked really pretty, sort of. I wasn't 100% happy with it, but it looked decent. It looked nice. And then I left it overnight. And if you don't know why it turned into this, I can guarantee you it's because my surface wasn't leveled. You can see it all running towards down this way. You can see like a little lip right there where it's, yeah. So it's all run down this way. So a pretty-ish picture turned into this, but I don't like wasting canvas. We're going to turn this into something, and then we're going to do our best to make sure this is extremely level. Okay, we're not going to use the same colors. We're actually just going to use some really simple colors, and we're going to do a really simple technique. Not technique, really, but I'm just going to do some lines, actually. And then maybe some dots around there. But it's really not going to be like an elaborate, cover-up sort of thing. It's really just going to be saving the canvas, pretty much. And the colors I'm thinking about using, I think this is going to be my base coat. Pink Pearl, and it says fabric paint. I got a big bag of really old fabric paint from someone who's elderly family members that passed away. And they had a lot of like fabric paint, stuff where you draw on t-shirts and draw little flowers and stuff on t-shirts. And then they had a whole big bag of it, and it was all messed up and all over the place. And they knew that I was an artist, and they were like, do you want these? I was like, sure. Fabric paint has a different consistency than regular paint, but I mixed it with regular paint and glue and the same stuff that I mixed my other paints with, and it actually came out really, really, really nice. It's a little, I guess, gelatinous, if you want to call it. But I've thinned it out, and hopefully this is going to work. I use fabric paints a lot, But I mostly mix them with regular paint just so, and the fabric paint is basically just the filler. It's to make it to where I have this much of it. But I mixed this with a little bit of pink. I don't know which pink I mixed it with because I mixed this quite a while ago. But yeah, this is going to be my base coat. And then I'm going to use some greens, almost like roses or whatever. And I know I'm using a lot of pinks lately. And I'm not a pink person. Magenta is probably about the lightest pink that I normally like. But since it's spring / summer sort of, it's just the very beginning of June. So spring / summer, I wanted to do some pieces that were kind of reflected that. And I do like pinks in certain situations. I like pinks when they're mixed with blacks and whites and greens. Those are, because it seems like all those are contrasting colors and they all pop and make, bring out each other's effects or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some of this base coat and we're just going to completely cover this up. And then I'll show you what I have planned to do. And it's going to be somewhat of the same technique that I'm going to use for my next major painting. Not major, but kind of a largish painting. And this seems to be right at the right consistency that I need. And I'm doing this early in the morning because I don't know if it makes that big a difference, but to me, it makes a difference. And here you can see there's some dried paint right there. I got to get that out before that ends up on the canvas. But it makes a difference to me to do it depending on what the temperature is. Because if it's super hot out there, this paint is going to dry too fast, way too fast, and it's going to crack. So I'm doing it in the morning. It's probably about 8:30, 8:45 right about now. In the morning in June. So, and I've got this. This is going to be used on the next couple of paintings. And I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do with this, if it works. We're going to see if it works. We're going to experiment, and if it doesn't work, you get to see the fail. So, here we go. We're just going to go in and just pour that in there. And I see a chunk of dry paint already. That's probably going to be more than enough paint. You can see it moving in right there. See that? But yeah, like I said, this paint is really old fabric paint. Some of it is dried and everything, but I was not going to waste it. I don't like wasting stuff. So I was going to use it, and I'll just pick these out. It's not a big deal for me. I love playing in paint. All right, so let's get this covered. You want to go ahead and lean it around. You don't want it to go off of the edge until you're quite ready to cover the whole thing. You want to get as much covered as possible. And what people are saying, and what I like to say, is weight of the paint. That's a very big deal when you're doing stuff like this. You see right here, that's where the weight of the paint is. And then it comes down, and you can watch the paint shift. And where most of the paint is, you can tell. And I want to cover as much as possible before it goes over. And then once I'm ready, there's a big old chunk right there. Look at that. And once I'm ready, I'll go ahead and lean it over the edge. The reason why you don't want to do that too early is because most of the paint, most of the paint is going to start coming off, and it's going to catch, and that paint's not going to move. And so now I want to make sure I get most of it covered to where I'm not losing a whole lot of paint. It's okay, it's just I don't want to waste a lot of paint. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that all covered, make it pretty thin, but not terribly thin. I don't mind it having a little bit of on there. And I'm just going to go right in and grab all these extra little pieces that are popping up. I'm not real sure if you can see it from there. Probably not, but there's just little pieces that are sticking up. You can see them sticking up off the paint. And I may have to do, I actually think I'm going to have to do a second coat because this is popping through pretty good up here. Because that was the most elevated part, so that's coming through the thin paint layer. Or, you know what, give me a moment. I think I got an idea. Okay, I am back. I think I have an idea on how to cover up these edges. Because I think the edges are going to be the ones that give me the most trouble. And I can put as much paint as I want here, but it's all, since it's just going to slide right off the side. And I'm not going to fight with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my composition to cover this area. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm going to, instead of putting the lines going up like through here, I'm going to come up like right in here. And then I'm going to come down through here to kind of cover up a little bit of that. So I'm going to start with the green just to get kind of a thing, an outline of what we want to do. Let's see, hold on. All right, we're going to go in and we're going to go right about here. And I'm hoping, my thought is this is going to spread. And if it doesn't, we got more paints. And I'm going to add interest to take away from, you know, that part. All right. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I like that contrast. I like that green and pink contrast. And this darker pink, I think it's going to work pretty good as well. That needs to be shaken up a lot more. All right, let's see. And it doesn't have to line up. It's just, you know, kind of. But as you can see here, I don't know if you can see it here, but it looks like this darker pink is thicker than the base coat because it looks like it's sinking. But that's fine. As long as I didn't do it too much, it should be okay. And I'm not going to do too much right now. I'm just going to layer it at the moment. And I can always come in with a little bit more if need be. And we're going to go in with some white. I'm going to do just a little bit of white, because white can definitely take over. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is I would like to come down a little bit. Got to get that solid. And just kind of make little wispy things. It doesn't matter if those are there because I'm going to do a little something that I hope is going to work. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. And then what I'm going to do is just make little dots. I'm going to start with one first because I want to see if it's going to work. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that dot. I'm just going to run the green right through it. And you see it looks like a little flower, sort of. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just as long as it looks like that. And if this works, then I'm going to actually do this on a much bigger scale. This is literally just a test painting, basically. But yeah, that's going to sink, so I'm going to have to keep doing that. Probably add another layer there. And then, let's see if I can get some white on there. You don't want to use too much because then it'll go. Let's see. Let's do this like that. You don't want to go all the way down to the bottom of the canvas. You just want to do it ever so lightly. All right, that looks pretty good. I like that. Let's see if maybe this works. I don't like that. Experimentation. And I could do like the pink and then put the white dot in between it and rub, get them both in there. But I'm afraid that it's going to get muddy and I don't really want that. So yeah, I'm going to get a few more dots here and there and I'll put some up here. Put some anywhere that there's green. All right. And we're going to pull those through. I guess I could use we can try it right here because it's got the pink and the green. Let's try to pull them both through, see what that looks like. Oh, it looks okay. Let's see. All right. And I'm just going to do this for a little bit. So I think I'm going to be okay with this. I'll put a few more on here. You can see you can see how this is running over. I kind of like that because it makes the sides of it a part of the painting as well. So I don't hardly ever paint my sides because I like that this carries over to the side so that the whole canvas is being utilized. And plus the parts that are not really being covered very well from the base, the one that we covered, once this goes over it, it'll be fine. Let's see. So I'm going to do a few more. Put some more together, closer together. Get some white ones in there. Let's see, right here would be good. And see. Yeah, you could just keep going and keep going and keep going. As many as you want to put on here. I want to get them a little bit closer together, and these dots are fine. This just adds to it. I actually enjoy the dots on there because it pretty much just adds to the composition. I'm not too terribly concerned about the drippage. I don't like for my pieces to look perfect simply because then it looks like a print rather than an actual piece. I want mine to look like I actually did it, rather than it looking like a photograph of something. I don't like it being perfect. I like the little dots and the little extra drippy bits and things like that. So but yeah, I really like that. I want to see if maybe I could add some more green. I'm actually, you know what, gonna leave it just like that. I think I forgot this one. Now I'll put some more into that one, which is probably a mistake. Okay. But I actually think that's going to be it for what I want to do with it. Given that this is a test piece, I'm not going to waste too much paint on it. But yeah, I like this technique. I like what I'm getting from it, and I think I'm going to go with it. Hopefully the black background that I use for this other piece is not going to uh, be too thin and have the paints sink. Hopefully it'll be thick enough to where the paints don't sink. But I don't want it too thick to where it cracks like we were talking about before. So I'm going to go and set this over on the drying table, and we'll start with the other one. Thank you guys for watching this. I know this was just a test piece, but I appreciate you guys tuning in, and if you like, please subscribe and like and share, comment on some different colors, maybe a different background color. This color I believe is going to dry just a little bit darker, and all these colors are going to dry darker. I'm going to try to keep it level so that it doesn't go all over the place. But yeah, this is, again, just a test piece. We're going to see how this dries and see what happens with it. But I think it's pretty cool. The other one I'm going to do is going to have way more of these little buds, I guess you could say. And it's going to be a lot more stark because it's going to be a black background with smashing white and, you know, stark this color. And I think I'm going to use some neon pink as well. So, and probably some purple. So we're going to have more colors to choose from on here. More little colorful buds on here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Tune in for the next one. We're going to do the same technique, but different colors. All right. Bye.